let's talk about some facts real quick. So Donald Trump did a interview with Elon Musk on X, aka Twitter, and I don't know why Elon Musk is he crashing hard, man. He crashing hard. You know, he trying so hard to help Donald Trump win that it's becoming real pathetic. And so they set up this interview and they couldn't get they said it was technological problems. Then they tried to say they got hacked. All of this stuff and that they crashed X, Twitter, blah blah blah. But he's supposed to be one of the richest people in the world. Let's talk about Elon Musk for a minute. You're supposed to be one of the richest people in the world. How come your stuff don't work? Maybe if you stop talking so much and spend your money in hiring people to make sure the stuff don't crash, then maybe it could work. Because walk around here talking about it crashed and did this, like, how you be the richest man in the world and you can't even get your stuff to work properly. But you want to invest some money into Donald Trump campaign, which is already a failing campaign. He all he do is lie. All you do is lie. Tesla is not doing as well as they thought it would do. Tesla's only good for the first couple of years. Once your warranty up, you better get rid of that Tesla because Hertz bought 100,000 Teslas. They stuck with them. They try to auction them off. They're trying to sell them off. Nobody wants these Tesla cars because they're short-term cars that is problematic, that cost too much to fix. In most cases, the battery costs more to fix on a Tesla than buying a whole nother car. You talking $20,000 $30,000 for a battery sometimes. You could buy a car for that, a brand new car. So that's that. So I'm just saying, if you're gonna be the richest man in the world and you're gonna buy one of the biggest platforms, have enough money to keep it working. Pay some people to get it working instead of out here trying to give your money to Donald Trump. So they did an interview. Donald Trump sounded like Daffy Duck. There were a lot of people say he sounded like Daffy Duck. He was lisping. He was slurring his words. He sounded awful. He sounded confused. He sounded old. He sounded demented, like you don't know what's going on. But yet they try to blame it on technology. They try to say they had a technological problem. Again, you spend all that money and you worth all that money. You can't fix that. So first it crashed, and now y'all trying to say the sound was messed up. That's why he sounded like that. Listen, that's how he sounded. And now y'all try to put out audio or video saying, well, he didn't sound like that. We know we live in a time of AI. It's so easy to go back and make an AI and try to make him sound better. That's what y'all did. That's the same thing that happened when Alicia Keys was singing a high note on the Super Bowl and she messed up the high note. They went back and fixed it. It's the same kind of technology. So don't try to fix his voice. That's how he sounded. It was live and that's how he sounded. And he tried to talk about the economy. He tried to talk about the border. He tried to make everything about the border. And he says murderers and drug dealers and rapists and people getting released from prisons and asylums that's come across the border. But the reality is, if you ever been to the border or if you ever been anywhere close to the border, you will realize you cannot just walk across that border. I've been down there, so I'm speaking from a place where I know. You have to go through checkpoints that got K9s. You have to go through security where people are checking on you, not just at the border. Once you leave the border, it's more checkpoints as you go further up into whatever state you're in. You're gonna hit more like you're gonna hit more like checkpoints with more security, more police, border patrol people. So all of this, people just walking across the border in droves. It's not true. It's a false statement. Plus, if Donald Trump wanted to do something about the economy, he would have let it get done. The House and the Senate had a bill that they tried to pass. So they had a bill they tried to pass so you can have better, border patrol and better policy at the border. He told them to not pass it unless he wins or until he wins the presidency. That way it didn't look good on the Democrats. The problem with the Republican Party is that even when Obama left the office, he had a judge that he tried to get, on a Supreme Court, and they was like they stalled it out until it was Donald Trump turn to be the president, and then they turn around and pick who they want to pick. So it's the same kind of game. They like to play these games where we don't want nothing to get better. We want inflation to be bad. We don't want to pass no policy that's gonna help. We want everything to look bad. That way we can win if they can get nothing done. So they don't want it to look like Joe Biden or Kamala did anything good. They want everything to look bad. They want to say the economy is bad, the jobs are bad, the border is bad. They want to talk about all these things that's just not true. But if they had it their way, they would like for all this stuff to crash. If it was up to Trump right now, he would want the economy to crash extra hard because he feel like if the economy was to crash extra hard, then basically at that point he'll be able to, oh, the economy crashed. Y'all see what happened under her, or see what happened under him. So now that Kamala is in the race, Donald Trump went out and gave a press conference a couple hours ago, not even maybe an hour or two ago, and he talked about like how Joe Biden. People say that he went too hard on Joe Biden in the debate. Maybe he shouldn't went so hard because you got him out of there, and now you got to go against Kamala. The fact that he even said that, he's acknowledging that the Republican Party is scared. They're afraid. They don't like that Kamala's in the race. They wish they still had Joe Biden to pick on and talk about. They don't know what to do. They scared. They confused. They don't know what's going on. They like, oh man, we should have left. We should have just left him in the race. He even came out and said, well, Joe Biden ain't really that radical. Joe Biden ain't really that extreme. He's not really that left. But when he was in the race, y'all was saying he was all these things. But because he's out of the race, now you want to say Kamala is worse. She way worse. She way extreme. She way left. That's what y'all want to say. Y'all want to talk about how Kamala is way worse than Joe Biden at this point. So now you're trying to say Joe Biden wasn't that bad. He'd rather have Joe Biden. Every speech, every conference, every time you talk about Joe Biden. That's that you wish Joe Biden was still in the race, but guess what? Joe Biden's not in the race no more. And we at a point where he wished that Joe Biden was still in the race because he's so confused. He afraid. He don't know what to do. He like, oh man, I can't, nothing can stick. They try to put all these personal attacks. They try to call her Kamato. They try to call her Kamala and all these Kamalas and pick on her name and Kambala and all this other crazy stuff. None of it is working. So what they're trying to do now, because none of that is working, they like, oh man, we don't know what to do. So they keep trying to talk about things. Now they're trying to say the economy is bad. The stock market is up today. Stock market is, if it's up and it's good and it's looking real good, it's because of people think Trump gonna win. If it's down the next day, it's because people are like, now is a new excuse. Is an excuse if it's up? Is an excuse if it's down? Either way it go, it's all got something to do with Donald Trump. It's the way he see it. But the market has been going up consistently every month. Everything has been going up. The inflation has been going down. Even Fox News is acknowledging that the inflation is going down. But yet you got this dude out here talking about inflation is at 50%. Gas prices was 180 something when I was president. The jobs, all of this stuff is just all lies. In 2020, you want to talk about if it was better off now than it was 4 years ago? In 2020, everybody's walking around with a mask on. People were dying. 1 million people died in 2020. A lot of people were dying. A lot of people were struggling. A lot of people lost their jobs. A lot of people lost their companies. A lot of people filed bankruptcy. Let's talk about the truth. And then you give out PPP loans, and the only reason why you had to give out PPP loans, you had to give out stimulus was because everything was crashing hard. Everything was crashing hard. The gas was low because nobody was going nowhere. But if y'all believe that inflation is up so bad, I want y'all to go look at the milk prices. Google it. Look at the milk prices at November. No, we're going to go to this far. We're going to go January 2020. Look at the milk prices. Look at the gas prices from January 2020. Look at the food prices from January 2020. And y'all tell me that it's up like y'all saying 50%. If it's really like that, show me the proof. Because I can go to Walmart right now and get milk for $2.52 a gallon. So y'all telling me that in 2020, the milk was less than $2.52 a gallon? Y'all telling me in 2019, late 2019, the milk was less than $2.52 a gallon? Y'all telling me that the food prices went up by 50%? So that means that things right now that I see in the store right now, that's $1. Y'all telling me it's 50 cents? The stuff that's $2 was $1? The stuff was already changing. Everything was already changing. When Donald Trump came in office, he took up and picked up Obama's economy. Some of y'all are not young enough. Some of y'all are not old enough to remember. Some of y'all are too young to remember this. Obama was the reason why we got a recession. We were in a recession in 2008, 2009. We were in a recession. Obama bailed out the banks. He bailed out the auto industry. He got things back on track. He had every month was a consecutive growth for jobs, and unemployment was going down. The GDP rate was looking good. Everything was looking good. Donald Trump became the president after Barack Obama, fixed everything that crashed from George Bush years. So for y'all who know about Obama, go look at the Obama economy that he had. Go look at how high the unemployment and everything was when he came into office. Fast forward now, go look at 2020 since we were supposed to be better off. Go look at the unemployment numbers from 2020. Go look at the job layoffs in 2020. Go look at how whole offices was getting fired in 2020 after COVID. Don't just talk about the gas prices. Don't just talk about the food prices. Talk about the people that lost their jobs. Talk about the people that lost their houses. Talk about people who lost everything because of COVID. Talk about people who started businesses and lost them. Talk about people who got new contracts that lost the contracts because of COVID. Talk about all the people that died. Don't just come out and talk about what the gas was cheaper. So we saying we rather sacrifice everything else for some cheap gas? Y'all rather sacrifice everything for some cheap gas? So if you listen to what he was talking about today in his conference, if you listen to what he was talking about in Carolina with his small crowd, since he liked to talk about crowd size, he had like 2,000 people maybe in that crowd. If you listen to what he's talking about, he keep repeating the same stuff over and over and over. He tell lies so much that if you had a lie detector, a live on-screen lie detector, it would cover up the whole screen. You wouldn't be able to see nobody's face. The crowd would be covered up because he lie so much. And people who don't know no better, which is most of y'all who are voting for Trump, don't know any better. Most of Trump MAGA people don't know better. Some of y'all are smart, but y'all not smart enough to know better. You could be a smart person to make dumb decisions. So if y'all knew better, y'all would do better. Because if y'all realize this man lies so much that Fox News is even starting to turn and starting to call out his lies. You got people like Sean Hannity. He lost already. He gone. He's a lost soul. You can't save him. People like him, Tucker Carlson, people like Fox and Friends, you can't save them people. Jesus can't save them people, man. They already sold their souls to the devil. They already gone. So you can't listen to them. And I know a lot of y'all think Fox is good because you have local Fox that report like local crime and local weather. That's not the same Fox as the Fox that you watching when you hearing these clowns talk. These clowns is a circus. It's a real circus, and it's horrible. It's a bad circus. So I'm gonna say this: stop falling for the propaganda. All he do is tell lies. He could talk about the economy all he want to. He could talk about inflation all he want to. He could talk about job numbers all he want to. But all he do is lie. So if you want to fall for his lies, be my guest.